Hey, this is Uncle Si with OPOS, the Stoked token. We have three parts of our project. First of all, there's OPOS Coin, the token itself, Magnum Opus, our protocol, and OPOS DAO, the ecosystem. But let's talk about you. You're a project founder. You have something truly significant to offer your users. It doesn't matter what market you're offering, what scale, whether it's on-chain, online, or real life, your greatest challenge will always be growth. And the key to growth is distribution. Let me tell you a little bit about us. We're Uncle Si and Aunt B, the composable opossums. We're also project founders, and we've been doing this for a very long time. We started our first software company together in 1994. We wrote our first blockchain protocol on Ethereum, of course, in 2017. And we went all in on Solana in 2021. We know that launching and growing your Solana project is a lonely, painful grind. You start on Twitter, now X, and fight the Web 2 algorithms. Maybe you're paying influencers, whatever you're doing to try and build your audience. Once you have enough followers, you activate them by getting them to your Discord. And then you try and keep them engaged with all kinds of, quote, community building tips and tricks. And you hope that when you're ready to launch, they're sufficiently enthusiastic to all ape in. And then, if you do get them to mint or buy or transact or whatever you're trying to get them to do, you then give them rewards to raid your social media and bring more and more people into your Discord and try and keep your project going. All of that means you're back to fighting the Web 2 algos. We call this the Web 2 hamster wheel of death. There's really very little to do with the blockchain and very little to do with Solana in this entire process. So we've traded our Web 2 hamster wheel for the on-chain viral flywheel, where you engage by demonstrating your value. You help others and support them launching their projects, and you earn incentives the whole way. Finally, you're ready to introduce your own project through token-gated media campaigns. Then you leverage our massive integrated airdrop system to distribute valuable, actionable, and redeemable tokens to those who are most likely to enjoy your project. Finally, you're ready to launch. When you've developed sufficient support, go for it. We have an integrated launch pad. And finally, with these incentives, you can recognize and reward those people who are most supportive. Here's the flywheel in action. We're at Burning Man. Our friend Chuck every year brings a card game called Playa. He made just a few copies of this deck. He drew it himself. He's an amazing game designer. Every year, we have fun playing this game. Well, this year, Alice says to Chuck, hey, we really need to bring this online. There's this blockchain network, Solana. People are really going to enjoy this game. Let's sell your actual physical card game, but also have NFTs and make it an online and IRL game. So Alice, Chuck, and Denise, they're all here at Burning Man with Bob, and she goes ahead and drops them activation tokens. Let's talk a little bit more about these tokens that are part of our protocol. We call it the composable token suite. So every human in this system or group or brand has a profile. You can connect with different profiles. You can have different profiles for different context. We're not tying you down to a particular identity. But all of the incentives, all of the rewards, all of the money you earn is going to go to whatever wallet is holding your profile. So sometime in the future, if you want to sell your profile, which is generating lots of income, you could do that for the forward value of that revenue. Next, we have gates. These are fungible assets or semi-fungible tokens, like activation tokens. They can be redemption tokens that provide discounts. They can be all kinds of things that attract people's attention, either provide access or prevent access to your offering. Then there's the offers themselves. These are non-fungible tokens, and they represent digital or IRL goods and services. These offers can be offers to provide goods and services, or they can be requests for goods and services. And finally, there's the money, the fungible tokens. Now, Opus Coin is the central token, but any project, any ecosystem can create their own money that's all tied into Opus, but also convertible to USDC, Sol, Bonk, Guac, or almost any other coin where there are pairs on dexes. This all allows you to build the most robust incentives possible into your unique project. Next, we have roles, and there are three major roles. These are the primitive roles. Now, you can build all kinds of different roles on top of these. You can combine them. This is all composable. But the three roles are the provider. That's you. You have something to offer. You have goods and services. They're the patrons. Those are the people who buy, sell, and trade offers. They enjoy what you have to offer. And then there are scouts. They onboard both patrons and providers. They network and they bring the two together. Now, every member is likely to play all three of these roles at different times. That's kind of the point. All this is very natural, and you don't have to be thinking about what role you're playing. These roles are simply imprinted on badges and revealed during transactions. So how does this actually work? So Alice started by activating Bob, Chuck, and Denise. Now, Bob, Chuck, and Denise also have friends who they think would enjoy this network. There are certain offers that they might want. So they're going to drop them activation tokens, which allows them to mint their own profiles. Their friends bring in more friends, their friends bring in more friends, and the network grows and grows. Now, when people go to offer, they're going to be bringing in whatever they're most passionate about. So Rob here has in-person and online private and group fitness programs. Ellen finances and installs residential solar energy systems. Vinny has a hemp-based streetwear line with CBD and cannabis products. Yvonne runs an explicit porn and dating app for sapiosexuals. And Chuck, as you know, has now developed a mobile and NFT social game with physical card decks. So then the earning starts, and it's supernatural. It's not like anybody's doing any weird selling or white lists or FOMO. There's no shilling. It's just people discover what they want because of the way the launchpad and the airdrops work. And in this case, for Hella Fit, Rob's program, let's say 450 people sign up for a 3-month pass. That means he made $2,250 through this channel. Well, the scouts, the people who brought in those patrons, get a percentage of the take. The same thing happens with blockchain solar energy finance, a new way to finance your solar energy system on Solana. The provider gets 85% of this, but she set up incentives so that the scouts, the people who introduce the patrons, get 15% of the total revenue. And the person who brought in the provider also gets a cut of all this. And the ecosystem each time, OPOS DAO, gets 4% of the transaction volume. The hemp clothing company sells $8,000 worth of materials. And again, he has set a distribution that gets him sales while keeping enough for himself. Only Brains, the sapiosexual network, gets a lot of subscribers. And what's cool here is there's both minting and trading of these subscriptions and the actual items within the subscriptions. So you can also compensate on the secondary market. The provider here has also created multiple levels of incentives where the actual creators themselves get 65% of the total income. The creator scouts get 10%, the patron scouts get 5%, and the provider gets 15%. So she's created an incentive package that works for that particular market. And finally, Chuck has been very patient. He's supported all these other projects. He's watched how it works. So when it's time to launch, he sells 100,000 of his card packs for $60 each. This is a huge hit. And the people who activated other people and promoted this, a lot of his Burning Man friends, of that $6 million, they get $1.8 million distributed through their network. And Chuck, as a provider, gets $2.4 million. Alice, who introduced him to all of this, gets $360,000, and the ecosystem gets $240,000. So that's just an example of how this could work. Now we have some amazing projects already lined up. Can't wait till you guys see them, but even more importantly, we can't help. We can't wait to help you launch your project. And then finally, you guys have probably seen, there's so many scammy Ponzi-like tokenomics programs, recently Friend Tech. We've designed a truly regenerative tokenomics that simply gains in value the more people who join and the more value they create, the more actual value they bring to Solana. So we really hope you join us in OPOS DAO. We hope you buy and hold, and more importantly, use our tokens to get what you want out of the Solana ecosystem. You can contact us by email, unclesilas@gmail.com, by Telegram, we're at Uncle Silas, Twitter, at OPOS DAO, and of course, we do have a Discord at discord.gg/opus. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and we really hope to see you in OPOS DAO.